I would have been beating the skin off your ass in that house. You ain't finna eat this? Mm-mm. Well, you gonna be, and if you and you're right, he right. It's only so many ass whoopings you gonna dish out.
Texas is training and arming teachers and paying them more, and I found that interesting. So I just want to hear your guys' thoughts.
I'm cool with them getting paid more. Teachers should get paid more. I think that's I don't believe anybody is like against teachers getting paid. I don't think that's a beef that has ever been had in the, other than outside the government, because they obviously don't give a fuck about the teachers. But regular humans, we all think teachers probably deserve more cash. Like, they're dealing with the kids
Definitely
half the time. Like, essentially, like, yeah, I raised my kids. These people are in charge of my kids for a chunk of their life. Mm-hmm. So we all think they should get paid more. Arming the teachers, though, sounds iffy as fuck to me. But it also sounds very Texas. Like, if anybody was going to do this, Texas was going to be Texas anyway. Because Texas doesn't give a shit.
All I heard was Texas, and I was no longer surprised at that point going forward. So
100%.
Yeah, so that makes sense from that standpoint, because Texas is going to be fucking Texas.
Yeah, I'm not agreeing to put no guns in school.
No, I think there needs to be other precautions taken as far as putting somebody maybe up front or like, I know in our elementary schools they started locking doors. Nobody could get in without a certain, key card or whatever. But yeah, all we need is some parent or some teacher that's getting paid more to be responsible, right? And some kid, little Johnny over there is acting up, right? Yep.
And see,
something happens, or he walks over to the teachers. That something happens, he gets a hold of something, right? That's the last thing that we need.
And that's the whole thing about it, man. They try to govern this shit so much about these guns and stuff like that. But the thing is, you're never going to stop it, because no one knows what triggers anyone. No one knows. No one knows. You can be the perfect person in the world, and you're the teacher to carry that gun until everything's piling your plate and you just can't take no more. You just get to school, and like you said, little Johnny that's been an asshole all year, you just can't take it no more, and you snap. No one acknowledges the world before they snap.
This is the one situation, the school shooting situation, is the one situation in this country where being in the poor schools is better than being in the rich schools. Because the poor schools are already set up for this. We already have the metal detectors and we already have the security guards and everything in place. So 9 times out of 10, that gun's never getting in the building.
Right.
Not saying it's never happened, because it's happened, but nowhere near as frequently. Right. Because they're already set up for this type of activity, because they're expecting this type of activity. In the suburbs, you just come and go. Like he said, the doors are unlocked. All of the things you discussed are already happening in the hood. The doors are already locked. Nobody's coming in that building that ain't supposed to be in that building. Now, will the kids know a way in and out because they've been there for 4 years? Yeah, they will. Or they'll call somebody who's inside and they'll get in. But some random dude with a gun is probably not getting in the building in the hood. And that's why you don't see these school shootings a lot in the hood. I'm pretty sure people got guns. They just don't have the same access. So this is the rare occasion where the hood schools are better than the suburban schools. Everything else, it goes the other way. Right. But this one thing is the only place where it's better. Like, well, they're a little safer in that motherfucker. They might be scrapping and doing all type of wild shit going on inside, but it'll stay inside and motherfuckers won't die.
For sure. Right. I think it's a bigger, I don't know, like you said, not to get off topic, but I think it's so easy to acquire a weapon regardless, right? Yeah. Like illegally, legally. Like the other day I was watching the news. It took a guy 40 minutes to apply for an AR, get it, go into the school, whatever, and start shooting people. Like why is it so accessible? And I don't know the right answer. And you get political, right? You could say one way or the other way, but like I just think the way to acquire a firearm is super easy. And it affects the way schools are, it affects the way just driving down the street, right? You don't know what people are going to do. The horn nowadays, you don't blow the horn at anybody because the guy could turn around and blow a gasket, right?
Absolutely.
So I just think, paying school teachers more, 100%, putting a firearm in their classroom. I think there's other ways to go around it.
I agree 100%.
I think you have a designated person to have a gun, but I don't know if that means like having all teachers carry a firearm, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have that one designated person that would have the gun, but I don't know, because like not everyone's really a gun person either,
This the thing with the one designated person. That person just became the number one target. So I know now, because I've been around this school. 9 times out of 10, this person has been around this school in school shooter situations. It's rarely a situation where I've never even been to this school ever in my life. 9 times out of 10, I went to that school, or I go there now. I know who has the gun. So if there's just the one guy with the gun, I'm just gonna go to get him first. And now the threat is gone, and I can do whatever I want to do anyway. So it's just one of them things where, like, to your point, you asking, like, I don't know how it gets this way, because guns is the one thing where, whether you're legal or illegal, government or black market, everybody supports the buying of guns because the NRA and the government are in the bed together. And if you're an illegal entity, obviously you don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just one of those things where guns are good for everybody essentially in decision making, situations, which is horribly unfortunate. But we all know the NRA has been in bed with the government since the dawn of time because they pay for funding. I mean, they
For
fund
sure,
shit.
it's definitely like a touchy subject because, like you said, you go into the school, who has a gun, right? If you're the liaison of the school, but almost you have to approach it as like an air marshal where you don't know who the guy is that's got it, but somebody in that school is trained by professionals or multiple people. Nobody knows who it is, but at that point in time, those people are able to respond and act upon it because, like you said, you take out the one guy, now it's easy, right? By the time you're in there, you're not worried about getting out. You're worried about other people not getting out.
Exactly.
So I just think that there needs to be some reform as far as, I don't know about handing every teacher a gun, but we had this conversation on the way home from the Tiger game last night of I don't necessarily feel super comfortable around guns, but we talked that in certain circumstances, like you don't want to be caught lacking without one because your house, right? You don't know who's going to walk in there late at night. It could be someone is completely innocent, but guess what? You got to be prepared at any point in time.
Absolutely.
Shit, I mean, we've
ready,
seen.
Gotta get ready.
Well, we seen the cop who's off duty go into a man's crib and shoot him in his own house. So these things happen. I mean, at the end of the day, guns in schools is crazy that we even to a point where we're thinking about this. Like, where this is a conversation. Like, maybe we should have a teacher that had guns.
That's crazy.
I mean, the video, crazy. They're at the range. They're getting trained.
This whole thought of
the teachers, the school. So they're only getting paid more, obviously, because they're carrying guns now.
This whole thought of, I go to the range. Hey, listen, that's horribly misguided thinking that you're going to just have this great shot because you go to the range.
That's so
because
bullshit.
stress is what's involved outside of the range. So when you're in the range, you're in a controlled situation. You know everything that's happening, and I'm just aiming at this target.
Paper don't shoot back.
Listen here, when it's live action, it's a totally different monster. Like, we're not talking about the range anymore. Now, are you still going to have that dead eye shot that you had in the range? Probably not. It's very few people who are still going to be capable of that level of preciseness that you need to center mass or headshot or whatever the case is that you're going for. It's the rare individual who can be that sniper up in the tree.
Right.
The very rare individual. That's why he's special. It ain't 700 million of them motherfuckers. It's 3. And everybody else is everybody else. Your bullets is gonna go astray.
Well, we're gonna keep paying teachers more, right? We talk about other people that have to carry a firearm and that have other responsibilities that are more important. I'm not saying teachers aren't important, but you're putting into the military, into the police officers, right? And they're not getting paid, and they're putting their lives on the line every single day, right? And a teacher, and it may never happen to a school, it may happen more than one time to a school, but we're getting into another topic of difference of this guy gets paid more because he holds a gun, but this guy over here, that's his job, quote unquote, right? And he should just get paid $40,000 a year just because he's a police officer or he's in the Army. Now a teacher's going to get a $10,000 raise because they're carrying a gun, but they may never even use it. I think this guy's putting his life in the line a little bit more than the teacher is. But again, there's not an exact science to tell me that this guy deserves this and this guy deserves that. It's just, it's messed up in the sense.
It all creates arguments because at the end of the day, like you said, I think, again, we would all probably just as normal people agree, yeah, man, cops probably should make more money. Like, I don't think as much as, and I got some beef with the police personally. And if you know me long enough or you're around me and you listen to me talk, you'll hear it. It's not an overall, I think cops are fucking bad. Right. There's a lot of bad cops though. And there's a lot of good cops that don't do anything about the bad cops. But I digress. Cops should be paid more.
For
like
sure.
at the end of the day, the job they do is a fucked up, dangerous job where you could lose your life today. Like at the end of the day, you might not go see your family ever again.
Exactly.
Right. That alone should just give me some type of a bump in pay. Like, hey man, you might not see your family tomorrow. Well, there's got to be some extra cash coming with this. Like for me to even take it,
and that's something to consider though.
You got to think about it, but it's just more argument because like you said, a teacher should get. They're going to get a bump. If I'm a cop, I'm definitely looking at that like. Hold on now.
Right, when a McDonald's worker's getting paid more than an ambulance worker, then it's like, why I'll go flip burgers,
But it come back to your government. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about government jobs. Like essentially, teachers are government jobs.
Right.
Cops are government jobs. Why aren't these people being paid better? But then you got your senators, your congressmen, they get themselves raises all the fucking time.
All the time.
You go into Congress and you definitely come out rich. Like 100% of the time. Nobody goes into Congress, has a career, and comes out with regular people money. These people are rich. It's a reason why everybody that goes there becomes rich. Y'all ain't all the smartest motherfuckers in the world. So it's obviously a reason. It's something in the system that allows you guys to come up in ways that you probably shouldn't. Like somebody should probably put a cap on the way y'all is
the limit. Like, wait a minute,
it has to be
make X amount of dollars
in place where it's like, damn, bro, like you've gotten enough.
Yeah. Well, the consideration is the same people benefiting are the same ones that would put that cap in place.
True, and that's why there's no cap.
And that's why,
like at the end of the day, the government is running rampant.
Well, what did you read? Did you read the article recently where correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was Arizona. There were two bills that they were considering.
Oh yes,
back to back. Mm-hmm. The first bill was subsidizing the impoverished youth school lunches. Mm-hmm. The other was
them getting free,
which got voted down, right? That got vetoed, nixed. Yet they approved an increase in the stipend for their own.
And this was crazy.
How fucked up is that?
It's very fucked up. This was crazy. First of all, fuck them kids next level.
That's FTK on a whole nother level.
I mean, they are a high level FTK.
Yeah.
Secondly, though, look at the quality of food that those kids would have gotten and the quality of food that they're going to get.
Exactly.
We're talking about that little square pizza
Bosco
that you get.
sticks versus
you know what I'm saying? They're getting fucking beef Wellington. They're getting filet mignon.
I got spam on my tray.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it just shows you how fucked up it really is out here. At the end of the day, people are people. They are always going to go to what benefits them. People are selfish.
The conversation is school lunch for these kids or me eating.
Human beings are naturally selfish. If I got to choose between you and me, I'm going to choose me.
Right.
And they, unfortunately, they're in a situation where they're choosing it for so many. Mm-hmm. Like if I go and just choose me over him, it's just one situation. I fucked over him for my own personal self. That's two people affected. Right. When you're doing this on a governmental level,
you fucking over
millions, hundreds of millions of people.
But I think that's why, like, we talk about it. You said you fuck over one person, right? We understand, like, hey, I'm out here to survive. I got to do what I got to do to survive, no matter what situation you're in. But that's why everybody hates the government, right? Everybody gets on, bitches and moans about this guy didn't do this, or that guy didn't do that, and help us out, right? Because they're voting for so many. But again, what's in a 1,000-page bill? Why are we giving all this money to whatever and can't help our own people?
That's true.
Can't give our government jobs, our teachers raises, but we're going to go send millions and trillions of dollars overseas when it's not. When in my opinion, it's not necessary. We can't even take care of our own people.
That's that bullshit.
It makes sense to take care. That's akin to, on a much smaller level, me not taking care of my household so I can take care of 3 of the households down the block.
That's exactly what
Who the fuck is going to do that? That's what America does, though. We go out of our way to help other people to look like these great citizens of the world, and globally we want to be looked at a certain way. Hey, how about you cure poverty here, and then worry about poverty there? Because fuck poverty there as long as I live here. Right. Like at the end of the day, I'm gonna make sure my kids eat, and then if your kid's hungry, they can get some. Right. If there's extra. But if it's half and half, fuck your kids.
Right.
And that's how it's got to be. Like, it sounds fucked up to say, but at the end of the day, like, I'm not here to take care of everybody. I'm here to take care of me and mine first, and that's what the government should be doing.
Well, the crazy part is it sounds even weird to say it in theory when you're like hypothesizing if the government is there. Like socially we run through all of these things and be like, I think they're out to get me, right? We all have those thoughts at some point about the government doing or not doing. This one was blatant in your face.
Oh yeah, fuck y'all.
There was no hesitation. I wonder if they were like,
there you go.
Y'all eat? Nah. We eat? Yeah.
Bing.
Yeah. Immediately.
How?
Yeah.
How do you walk out of that room
feeling okay with yourself?
Exactly.
But to be honest,
well, at first you have to give a fuck about anybody, period. Like, you just gotta you can't be a decent human being and be like, fuck them kids.
Man, I was just gonna say, even if the second bill wasn't on the table, the first one should have just passed.
Exactly.
Like, that should have just passed. Like, this is something where if somebody just randomly walks up to you, hey man, do you think kids should eat? Yes. I do. Right. Like,
if you have to
like, this is not hard. Like, how is this a question? Like, that would be my response. What kind of fucking question is that, bro?
Like I was saying,
I obviously think they should eat.
They always put stuff in to be voted for. Like I say, like, certain shit shouldn't even be voted on. Like, that shouldn't even be a vote.
If you look at government spending in this country, though, like the fucking military is like 98% of all the money being spent. Like, why, bro? And it ain't to the people in the military. That's the real problem. It's not them. It's the shit you're spending money on, not necessarily the people.
Right.
So we're buying these warheads and things that are just ridiculously priced, but we're not paying the motherfuckers who are transporting them. Sounds questionable to me.
Because everybody's replaceable, and they'll get somebody for cheaper than you
There
are.
you go.
But you know what happens when you replace people? Every time you go down a level, you go down in quality.
100%.
So at some point, you had a top-notch motherfucker who was making sure, hey, I'm gonna transport these, and nothing's gonna happen. And then at some point,
You got my man the dude on his phone.
the dude that's transporting, he's swerving.
Fall asleep on the
He
freeway.
don't give a fuck about this shit.
just going
And
to
somebody's gonna die. Like at some point, somebody's gonna die because this dude just doesn't give a fuck.
Right.
How
And
much
that's
are
what
you willing to
you're paying
sacrifice?
for.
That's what you paying for.
Right, the grass isn't always greener on the other side, but like, man, when you're gone, we don't appreciate what you do anymore, and then all of a sudden, like you said, 3-4 people go by and like, oh shit, maybe we should have kept him around. Yeah, maybe he did more than we realized what he did.
Quality is hard to replace. It's easy to replace the human. It is hard to replace the quality of the human.
Right. 100%.
So the further removed you get from that top notch guy, you just getting more and more dangerous.
I mean, it's like hiring low-paid security to guard your multi-billion-dollar fortune.
It is.
So I got to look at this money all day.
It is. It is. It's
All
just
day.
like
Right.
it's
That's
like
what I'm saying.
if I'm paying you a poor man's wage to guard Fort Knox,
You gonna
I'm
give me a
almost
poor man's
guaranteeing
effort.
Fort Knox is getting broke into at some point.
You gonna give me a poor man's
I'm almost
effort.
guaranteeing.
Now, I'm not the smartest man in the world, but there's a high probability.
Somebody's getting in this motherfucker at some point because these motherfuckers don't care. They sleep on the job. You know what I'm saying? They bring a hose by. They doing all types of foolishness. Like, let's just be honest here, because
They taking some
if
of
you
the
lose your
money.
job at that point, it's just a job.
Yeah.
This is not special. Like, you're not saying like, shit, I ain't letting nobody get through this motherfucker because I make $300,000 and I ain't gonna never get paid like this nowhere else. You like, man, I make $15. I go to KFC. Fuck these motherfuckers.
Fuck
Like,
Fort Knox.
like,
Next.
shit.
McDonald's is offering $20 an hour.
You feel me?
Right.
Like, shit, I just go to somewhere else. It's not a big
yeah.
deal.
I'll take less.
It need to be
McDonald's
like
not offering no $20 an hour.
to mess people's order up, and that don't even matter because they need people to work, and they're
Exactly.
making more money than I am.
So
and I'm
McDonald's
busting my
are actually
ass every
paying
single
people
day to try to make
$20.
things working.
And I'm protecting something major.
Right?
No, that shit won't get protected. Not for 15.
No, not a chance.
But then
No
if we go
chance.
back on the discussion of, arming teachers, then do we have that same attitude when it comes to our schools?
Yeah.
It's an interesting parallelism,
Yeah.
and I don't know the correct answer to it, but
we're gonna put money into protecting the schools, but like you said, we're not gonna for school lunches. We can't get people to get a $5 lunch.
Don't that
It
sound
doesn't even cost
crazy?
them
Yeah,
$5.
that
They're
sound
making money on
fucking
us
unreal. Yeah, that
paying.
sound
When we were in
unreal.
elementary school, I think it was like $2.25, right, for lunch.
sure was.
So it was great, but again, now these people that are on need help paying for lunches, they get the worst lunches. They get the PB&J frozen lunch because they're not being able to be supported by the government to help fund and make sure they have the normal lunch of everybody. They get the Uncrustable. They can't get the Bosco sticks. Now, but it's just a shame that we can't put more money into the school system.
as
in
long as,
general.
as long as we had our chicken tenders on Wednesdays, I was happy.
The
I
chicken,
couldn't
yeah.
complain.
But you look-
Yeah, all
They
of
had
that.
them French
but these
fries on
chicken
Friday,
tenders,
baby.
When you look at the government, right? We have all the lottery winnings, right? And the government, we match it, right? But every dollar they put in, they take out, and we match whatever. The lottery runs every week. There's millions and millions of dollars, and we match the fund, right? We
Where's
don't
it
match
at?
the fund. Where is it at?
I've been saying
Where
that for
is
years.
it
I'm like,
at?
shit, it's always, it's for the schools, Man, the schools are struggling.
Right.
Where the fuck is the money?
Where's the funding?
Where is it at? Like, cause like you said, Powerballs and motherfucking Mega Millions and all of this shit, we seeing motherfuckers getting into the billions.
Right.
How are we not seeing much improvement in these schools?
Shit.
Right. It's $1 billion.
I
So you only get 500 of it. There's
I kinda-
500
I
somewhere
I
else.
question
right?
that.
I know where it's at. It's in the politicians' pockets.
Well, here's the question. Same thing before. Who's balancing this out?
No fucking body.
Where's the accountability?
There
And if we
is
had to
none.
look at a spreadsheet
There is none.
for
But
some level of accountability to say, hey, if you had to show me dollar for dollar where A, B, and C went, first of all, where is that?
Right.
Because if it's government money, it should be
should be
100% accounted for and readily available to the public. So open the books, show me the money where we're getting billions in Powerball, because people are winning. It's not like
Yeah,
people,
people
aren't
are
winning.
winning.
People are
Yeah.
winning. So the money has to be going out because that's
and like
a
he
part of the
said,
agreement.
taxes take more than 50% of it. So
I
but
pay
that's going
taxes.
right
I
back
get
into the-
taxed. I pay taxes, and I also pay taxes on what I'm buying.
Yeah, you pay taxes to work, taxes to spend, and taxes to just live. You
Yeah.
pay taxes for
America,
tax
man.
for everything.
Right. The only place in the world you got to pay to have some shit. You know
Well,
what
you
I'm
have to
saying?
pay on top of paying on top of paying.
But the
Right.
fact of the matter is, like, it really come back down to the voters. We uneducated.
But does our vote really matter?
It would if we were all educated. The problem is we're not all educated. Like, and we're never going
for
to.
Sure.
Like, let's just be honest. Like, it'll never be a society, not in America at least, where everybody is up on what they need to be up. Like, at the end of the day, we're not going to do our studies like that. You know why? Because we got to fucking go to work. And America has made their system in a way where you have to fucking go to work. Like, you're not going to work. You're going to go spend these 8 hours or more every day. And then you're going to be tired. You're going to have to deal with the kids. You got to deal with whatever you got going on in life. When are you doing this studying on what the government is doing? Like, when are you looking into those 100-page bills to read every line to see exactly what the fuck they meant when they said, or how is this going to affect? That's what literally everybody would need to be doing. Do we think that's ever happening?
And the problem is we can't get someone to educate us on that properly because there's a guy that says it's all about this thing and it's all about this thing. And you're going to, whatever side you're on, red or blue, you're going to listen to this guy or that guy, right? Yeah, it doesn't matter if he's right or wrong. You're just going to, that's who you get your education from.
Which is the dumbest shit. Again, it comes back to us, us as the masses, because we have the power. We just don't use it properly. We're too divided and we're too easily divided. And that is how they do it. I'm a Democrat, so I'm just going to whatever they say. I'm a Republican, whatever they say. Right. That's just a dumbass way of thinking in general. As an adult, I never go into any situation like, well, I like that guy, so whatever he says. I've never said that about anything in my life. So why do you do this with your politics?
Over a billion people in the country, they only got figured out two ways to run it.
Man, listen, and they both the same way.
And how do they? I guess we're the dumbasses that put.
Yes. We got more soda selections.
Them, right? We allow it.
we got more soda selections than they got ways to run the fucking country.
And they're the same way. Like at the end of the day, it all benefits them. Like if you look at them, 100%. The people who are on the left or the right, they all living good. Who not living good? The people underneath them. Like, I don't give a fuck what kind of policy you put. You can have all Republicans in office holding every major office, and you will hear Democrats are bitching and moaning, right? But you know what you won't hear? Democrats going broke. Them motherfuckers are still making their money on a governmental level. And then if you do it the other way, hey, everybody in office is Democrats. You're going to hear the Republicans bitching and moaning. But you know what you're not going to hear? They're going broke. Right. They all still going to make their money. So the thought that these motherfuckers is really against each other, the results don't show that because they're all getting rich together.
Right.
Well, I mean, and Austin made the statement about, there should be someone there to explain it to us, etc. That person does exist, right? We elected them as a collective of people voting. The issue doesn't come into whether or not this person exists. The where it comes into is this person, one, educating their constituents adequately and or representing them entirely. Because once you're out of eye shot and earshot, what happens behind closed doors, that's a whole different conversation. And who's to say what did or didn't or could or couldn't? Because I can, they come back, they do their town halls, they go to their location, people come in, they voice their opinions, etc. Then they go back to DC. Mm-hmm. And once they're back there, out of earshot, right? Out of line of sight.
Right, out of sight, out of mind.
Out of sight, out of mind.
What happens then?
They're deciding what's good for them, the individual. Like, it's still going to come back to motherfuckers is going to do what's good for them.
Right.
At the end of the day, if I come to your, I'm a big government person. I come to your town hall. I want to hear what y'all problems are. We got a problem with gun control. We want gun control. We want gun control. And you leave there, I promise you guys, gun control. You get back to when it's time to have these conversations, and NRA is like, hey, if you don't talk about gun control, and they slide you that envelope.
But there's no one there to police. Control? Nobody knows, right?
Exactly. So now gun control ain't number one to you anymore. It was number one when you left, and you were gung-ho about it. And, right. and I believe this to be true about people who go into the government, and same thing with police or any entity with the good idea. I want to make a difference. I want to show the people I care. You only care so much when you're making $50,000 and this man just handed you an envelope with $100,000. He just handed you an envelope with more money than you make this year.
But that's the problem. It's harder for a person we'll use a poor person, right, that doesn't make a lot of money to go in and try to make reform and run because they're going to get bought out by the guy that makes more money than you.
Yeah.
10 times out of 10. Oh, here, I'll pay you to go away and get the hell out, or I'm just going to post ads about you, and then people are gonna be like, well, I don't want this guy in. Make myself look better because I got more capital. It's all about the almighty dollar.
You know what is consistent in all of those organizations, top to bottom, no matter which side you're on, no matter how you feel, is if you don't play ball, the entire organization will turn against you.
You get out of there.
Right? There was a couple of years ago, there was this
look at Kennedy.
Republican or this bit of turmoil in the Republican Party. And one of the Republicans voiced an opinion and generally they don't run against each other. Right. So if you're the guy, they're just going to back the guy. Right. It is easier for you to get reelected if you're already elected than get elected if you're the newcomer. So, other parties are always going to throw somebody in the mix, but you generally don't get run against in your own party if you're already in there. But the moment you don't play ball or you say something that doesn't toe whatever particular line you're supposed to toe, we don't have that same level of support, care, and concern for you anymore, sir. You have to go, and we're going to get the next person.
For someone trying to make a little bit of a change.
You don't get to do that unless we approve said change in advance.
I approve this message.
Facts. Right?
It's the same thing with police.
That's what I'm saying. All of those organizations, it's the same.
You can't be a good cop because if you go against us, we got to get you out of here. Like, so essentially, I can think, hey, man, you're wrong, but I can't speak against you because we have the blue wall of silence. So if you know I'm doing wrong, you can't say anything because you become the enemy.
Have you seen the video of the sergeant that choked up the officer on scene because she said, "Sarge, stop hitting him," because he was beating I think I saw handcuffed suspect in the back of a car. And he turned around, grabbed her by her neck, slammed her against a squad car.
I'm your boss. Fucking wrong with you.
And there's other officers standing around and nobody budged.
No. That's how it go. You can't be a good cop. And I was like, when people tell me, "Oh, good cops," I'll be like, you can't necessarily be a good cop if there are bad cops present. Right. You have to then become essentially a bad cop. Because if you just stand around and watch it, aren't you a bad cop? I mean, like, you didn't stab the guy, but you saw him stabbing him, and you didn't stop him.
Here's
You're a bad cop now.
As a police officer, if you witness a crime being committed, you are obligated by law and duty to step in.
We've seen them countless times not.
Right? So it applies to the person who doesn't have on the same color t-shirt you do, but it doesn't apply to the guy that you are watching physically assault someone in your presence because he has on the same color shirt you do. If that's the case, I'm going to buy another shirt.
That gang.
Yep, that's that blue code.
Right?
But that's everything. That's every organization, though.
But that's what I'm saying. It becomes difficult to have this individualistic point of view when the entire organization of fill in whichever type is designed to protect itself.
Yep.
I don't care what you're involved in. We talked before, Harvey, you made the comment about the guy on the team, even if he's wrong, we got to back him up.
Certainly.
Right?
That's the first thought.
From an athletic
That's the first thought. And,
right?
Again, it's like you're saying, it's organization. Because that's the first thought. The first thought is not, is he wrong? The first thought is, hold on, bro. That's my guy. We'll figure out if he's wrong later on. Right. But we done already wronged this person now. Like, essentially, because even in that example, what did I say? What they were upset about that guy had done,
100% legit.
They were 100% correct. They were 100% legit. They should have reacted the way they reacted. They did everything right. We were 100% wrong. We were going to be wrong. We didn't give a fuck about being wrong because that's our guy. We'll figure that out later. But right now, we're gonna have his back.
We gotta get
we're gonna get y'all together.
But it's simple as we talk about sports, right? I think I put this guy in. I coming from a coach, right, or just being around sports. I put him in the game at that point in time because I felt that was the best decision at that time. Now maybe it wasn't. Maybe I'm the outside in looking in, right? And it's not that decision. But the media asks, hey, comes up to you and go, hey, what do you think about that move? That's my guy. I'm backing.
Yeah, you're not gonna say it was terrible.
But I think it stems to, again, we talk all these different things, and it comes down to almost one thing, well, two things: the government and the media. They're all together, right? I can't flip on CNN and them say good things about the Republican side. I can't flip on Fox News and I can't hear them say anything good about the Democratic side, right? So we get our information from a certain source: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, wherever it may be, right? And we hear one thing and all of a sudden we're sold on it, and that's what we believe. The media comes in and says, they make that the controversy. They create the controversy. We can't come together and have the agreement of saying, yeah, I might have been wrong, or the ownership of I might have been wrong. I should have stepped up in that situation. I understand that's my guy. I made the mistake. Nobody ever says I made the mistake.
You don't ever hear it.
You never hear it.
This country is lack of accountability.
Well, because the other part of accountability, once you admit to something, right,
you got to do something to fix it.
Fully accountable, right?
Yep.
And what if fixing it is you got to come out of pocket?
Yeah.
That they're not protecting your thoughts. They're not protecting your feelings, right? We're protecting pockets.
100% of the time. Everything is about money. Period.
Everything.
I mean, I don't give a fuck what you're talking about. It's going to come back to, at some point in time, it's going to come back to finance. It has to. That's all we do anything for, especially as adults.
Yeah.
That's all we do anything for. Hey, you going to work today? Only if they're paying me.
Right.
It's the only way I'm showing up.
So you've never gone because
I've never gone because it was fun to me.
they ain't
I've
paying,
never,
I ain't staying.
I don't give a fuck how fun the job is. The day they not
They ain't
paying me
paying
for
this
it,
day,
I'm
I'm not
not
there.
coming. I don't give a fuck if I go in that bitch and have a ball every Monday.
This is the best
like,
time
nigga, I
ever.
just be the happiest motherfucker in the world on Mondays. Why I can't wait to get in this motherfucker. We're not gonna pay you this Monday. I'll see you Tuesday. Yeah. I don't give a fuck how much fun it is.
But then to go off what you brought up, I mean, how much do you trust an internal investigation too? Like, it would be like asking a mouse to guard the cheese. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
Like, how would you trust them doing an internal investigation?
And that's why anytime I hear, they're looking into it, I just side eye.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna ask you to tell us what your friend did wrong, and we're just gonna trust whatever you come with. You're probably gonna come with, oh no, he was good. It's your friend.
Right.
It's your friend. Like,
I've never once asked my son to investigate the thing I thought he did.
no,
Never that.
because that would be foolishness. That would be
Sir, I
foolishness.
think you broke this. I
Yeah.
need you to look into it
Yeah,
for
check
me
it out and
then
let me know
tell
if that's
me.
what happened. No, it will 100% of the time will turn out that he did not break
did
that
not do
thing. He was the only one there. It was his
didn't
thing to
do
break, but he didn't do it.
He cut his
100% of the
hand,
time.
but nah,
feel me?
there's blood on it. Yeah.
all the evidence points that he
Yeah,
broke.
all the
everything.
evidence
Yeah.
But no, that's not what he came back with conclusion wise. It's just it's the dumbest thing in the world. When I hear they're gonna do an internal investigation, I immediately just be like, man, what?
Then nothing. You said, come back to these like you said, nothing happened, but I'm going to pay $8.5 million out of my
$8.5
pocket.
million.
Oh wait, that goes back to the beginning, right? We have all this extra money that we're going to pay for these lawsuits that put back in their pockets, right? And we can't even figure out what's going on in our schools.
Yeah.
You know, government. It's just a shame.
That's just like Fox News just paid like $78 million for they lied about the ballot box.
The Dominion.
$785 million.
$285
Yeah,
million.
$1 million. So,
No.
but then
Now they didn't admit guilt.
no, and that's what I was just gonna say. Now they never admit guilt, but they spent that money. Period. It happened. There's still a faction of people who go to them as their news source. Like,
No. As
like
a
they just paid damn near
factual
$1
news
billion
source. Yeah.
because they lied.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck what the lie was about.
It don't matter.
Like
Lie's a lie.
I can't go to them now because I just don't. You're suspect.
Right.
To me. But that shows you back on your Republican and your Democrat. This is the side I ride with. I don't care about that. I'm still going to ride with.
Right.
And it's crazy.
Right.
This is America.
But they don't go to them as their news source. They go to them as their factual.
Yeah, and if you look if you look up Fox News, they do not call themselves news because they know that what they put out a lot of times is not news. So like if you look it up, they can't say they're news because they know they're not. And it's wild. CNN is, I'm pretty sure, a lot the same way. Like because this is political rhetoric, it's a lot of opinions, and it's a whole lot of lies on both sides.
Right.
So we can't necessarily say
Call
we're
it
a
the
news
news,
source
right.
because
I follow.
that's supposed to be facts. And when we do that, now we're just fucking breaking laws. We're into all type of bullshit country.
Right.
But they know people aren't looking that type of shit up because I've just decided this is who I fuck with, so this is who I fuck with. That's what people do.
Yeah.
And we become
at that
loyal
point,
to
it
that.
becomes tradition and consistency.
Yeah.
And I'm just doing this because, well, it's what I've always done. So
And you can literally look at any person's life and that's how they operate. Like that's a human thing. Like at the end of the day, you made a choice and you roll with it. Like me, I buy Nike. Does that mean Reebok has never come out with something I liked? Doesn't fucking matter. I wear Nikes. And I will say something to you if you don't. Like you, man, get that fucking Adidas out of here, dog. You trash. I will say that. It's not that everything Adidas is trash. I decided that I was going with Nike a long fucking time ago and ain't nobody telling me otherwise. And it's senseless. Like
so Nike is your Fox News.
Nike is my Fox News. I don't give a fuck what Nike do. That's what I'm wearing. Like it's happening. Like, oh yeah, they were killing dogs out in the field. That is crazy.
Just do it.
Shit, I don't know. I mean, lace my shit up because I might have to
just
Shit.
do it.
Fuck it. I don't know what's happening over there, but yeah, I'm still gonna buy the new Air Max 95s when they come out. It's life.
Prove me
And
wrong.
and I think that's humans though. That's human nature. Like we pick a side and we go
You
with
just
it.
roll with it.
no matter what's
Because
going on.
it's
a lot of
comfortable.
times. It's
There you
comfortable.
go.
It's comfortable.
Yep.
Nobody likes change.
Nope,
Nobody
that's
likes
a fact.
change.
Nobody likes it. Everybody
That's a
likes to
fact.
stay in their comfort zone.
You know,
bro.
we grow up, right? And I think political parties have changed. When my grandpa grew up, right, he was a part of the union, worked for Ford. He was considered a Democrat, right? That's just how he was involved. But I think even the Republican Party back then and now and the Democratic Party then and now are two completely different.
Yep.
They're two completely different people or parties, I should say. And that's the thing. Like, we're so comfortable that nobody, if we stand out and we make a change, the independent person that's running for office gets what? A 0.5% of vote, a percentage of vote.
Bernie Sanders? I think that wasn't that his name? Bernie Sanders?
Yeah, Bernie Sanders.
Bernie
yeah.
Sanders was the guy who was like, Man, fuck all of that shit. This is what y'all need to be doing. What did they say? Oh, he's a socialist. Get him out of here. I'm like, man, it sounds like the shit he's saying makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
I'm not heavy in the politics, but it sounds to me like the things he's saying it would help.
Bernie says
they got him the fuck out of there.
Bernie says some real shit. And a lot of people perked their ears up, and the most he got out of it was a meme.
Yep, him in the chair.
Him in the chair.
And I feel like he was asleep. If he wasn't asleep, he looked asleep.
When he had the gloves and shit. He said some real shit, and people were like, "Wait a minute, and Bernie might be on to something."
And if you look at it, Bernie been saying that same shit since the 70s.
Yes.
Like when he was not 150. Like I get not wanting to elect a guy that's 150 years old. Like damn, he's definitely gonna die in office. Like let's just try to avoid that. But I mean, the shit he was saying, he been saying since the 70s or 60s, whenever the fuck he originally started into politics. Mm-hmm. If you go back and look at his tapes, they're damn near identical. He just looks different because, you know,
he was younger and then,
but like it's almost identical. Like how did nobody ever let this man do more? Like he's been literally consistent. But you can't say that about all politicians, because if you go back far enough on a Joe Biden, you see him saying some shit and it's like, this don't align with what you're saying now.
Right.
But with Bernie, it was the same guy 100% of the time, and nobody fucked with him because what you're talking about doesn't necessarily benefit the powers that be. So we're never gonna allow you to get into this system because it's gonna fuck over us. You might help them, but we don't care about that. That's not our interest.
Well, and the reality is nobody 100% gets behind people who say real shit.
No, it's always gonna be opposition to that.
You can't, because what are the odds that real shit perspective will turn on me?
It's going to at some point,
right.
Especially if you're in the government.
Yeah,
because at some point it's going to be. He was going to get to at some point the spending of the government being the way it is. It's just going to have to change. And they're like,
so you're gonna let a dude who has a habit of saying some real shit, transparent, and you're gonna open the books. Mm-hmm. You gonna let him behind the curtain. You don't let an individual who will just tell you how it is behind the mask. You don't let him see.
I think that gets involved. Like we talk about politicians, right? Like, and I think that was a huge uproar with Trump. And I know he has said some crazy things and done some crazy things, but he's not a politician, right? No, so when he comes into office, the politicians now they don't want anything exposed, right? So they're scrambling. The uproar is bigger for him versus maybe a Bernie Sanders or a Joe Biden who's been in politics their whole life, right? And I just. Now, I'm not saying Trump was the right guy for the job, but again, I just think that there needs to be someone that's going to make a change, because these 75-year-olds, 80-year-olds that are running our country, why? Right.
The big problem with Bernie has always and will always be with anybody who's like him. He was not motivated by money. If they can't buy your opinion, they can't buy what you say, they don't want you there.
You become dangerous.
Because at the end of the day, if he was not about that life. I'm not here for the money. Like, I'm here to see some shit happen.
Him to make change.
I don't care what the shit is that you're about changing. Nobody's gonna want that, because it's gonna be against what somebody has going on.
Right.
So if all your changes are bad, there's a group of people who are okay with that. But there's another group who are like, that don't work for us.
Right.
But we can't buy you, and vice versa. If all your shit is good, same deal. Somebody, if you can't be bought by anybody, they're not going to let you.
That's why Nancy Pelosi was Speaker of the House for so long.
And that's facts. But you also consider the one element of these individuals' base level development, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years old, right? We are learning who we are little by little. When these individuals, 70, 80 years old, civil rights had just happened or not happened yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So these people are coming from a completely different mindset of right, wrong, indifferent, quality, whatever element you want to apply to it. Back then, black people were still subpar humans, and I grew up at 10 years old. If I'm 70 now, civil rights didn't kick in until the 60s.
Right.
My grandparents were 30 years old at that point, right?
So y'all trash.
Yeah.
You rights, lefts, yeah. Right? Right. What are you talking about? So you got to think these people are still in office, still leading this nation, still making decisions, and they grew up at an age where water fountains was a real conversation.
This thought of these motherfuckers ain't racist is crazy. And this gonna sound like wild. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with if you're 80 years old being racist, because your life was dramatically impacted
By racism.
by things around racism, by the civil rights movement. Shit changed in your actual real life because of this group of people.
Right.
I get you being racist. I understand. Like if my total life, the way I live has to change because this motherfucker just moved in over to the left of me. Fuck them guys. You know what I'm saying? Like I get it. So if you're 85 years old and you racist, I don't have a beef with that. I'm not gonna obviously allow you to just call me the N-word or be outwardly racist to my face, but I fully expect that you are racist. And when it comes out, oh, that person's a racist, there's no I fully expected that. You know what I'm saying? I totally was like, oh, yeah, all right, moving on. Like, yeah, that should have happened. You're from that way. Like, so I totally get.
But the issue is when these people are holding office.
Yeah, they're the people making the decisions.
The people that make the decisions in the court.
So when you see the photos of the guys with the hoods and shit, that's Bernie Sanders and them hanging out. Like that's not necessarily saying Bernie, but my point is
that's that age group.
Like so, and this is your politicians now for the most part. It's now we are getting to where we're seeing younger people going into politics earlier, and you're starting to see a little, kind of a movement where young people are getting involved. But for the most part, your high level politicians are all 60, 70, 80 years old. Fucking Obama was considered young. Like when he got to where he got to, it was like, whoa, this guy's young. He was like 50. Like he's not young at all, but in that world, he's a fucking baby. Because look at the two guys that came after him. 70 and I feel like Joe Biden's 141 years old.
He's close.
I oftentimes ask, like, is he still alive?
Joe Biden, he aged, but he get older yearly by the day.
Man, listen, that man barely come out and say anything.
He had 365 birthdays a year.
Right.
You feel me?
He might think it too, but
Every
day is his birthday.
Call him Sleepy Joe for nothing.
Ooh, shit.
Call him Sleepy Joe. Joe Biden look like he just woke up.
Dog. Like I'm sure he got a Lazarus pit somewhere because dog got to be 413.
I guess my question to you guys is we talk about like ESPN, right? And there was a headline that came out about the NFL draft that said 3 black quarterbacks were drafted in the top 10. And as a Caucasian male, we look at it and say we're trying to eliminate racism. We're trying to eliminate those type of comments because if somebody says, well, 3 white quarterbacks go in, I don't feel right about that either. But I understand we're trying to bring awareness to a situation, but I feel, in my opinion, we say that there three quarterbacks were drafted and we post their pictures, and then people come to the conclusion that it was 3 African Americans that were drafted. And I feel that there's a headline of being that it trying to explain how I put this, but there's
like the fact that they're just so conscious of
it's very conscious of it, and and I think it's great. I think it's great for the game. I think that there should be more minority coaches and quarterbacks in the game.
True,
but I don't know, is that a side of racism too towards a Caucasian person that says, well, 3 black quarterbacks were drafted? Well, why is it 3 black and just not 3 quarterbacks drafted?
The reason is because it's normal for 3 white quarterbacks to be drafted, like first.
For sure.
Like so at the end of the day, one thing is a regular occurrence and the other thing is like, really, that happened? You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, if 3 white quarterbacks are drafted and no black quarterbacks are drafted, that's not news because it's a typical draft cycle. So I know bringing it up sometimes, I look at the internet, I see white people's comments and I think to myself like, I can get it. It's like they're throwing it in your face. Like, is it necessary to say 3 black? But it kind of is. Just like when a black person wins the Super Bowl as a quarterback, it's news.
But wasn't it the bigger thing was 2 black quarterbacks made the Super Bowl?
That was a huge thing.
Right, too.
But again,
first time ever.
So in sports, this is the problem. In sports, obviously, black and white, whatever. Quarterback is the last place where it's expected the white guy is the only one who can do it. He's the only one mentally capable to do it. If you look back over, now I'm an NFL person.
For sure.
So if you look back over the years, they don't even get the opportunity to do it typically over the years until like a Randall Cunningham or Warren Moon. And even if you look at Warren Moon, he had to start off in the CFL and go fucking crazy.
Years. I mean,
he was down there fucking going nuts.
He did
winning championships and everything before they finally let him in the NFL.
Before they finally let him in the pro.
How many other black quarterbacks would have already made these breakthroughs had they just been allowed? Because if you go back to Lamar Jackson, who is an MVP in the league, when he was coming out of college, are you going to change position?
Right.
It's the first thing they're asked. Oh, you're athletic. Would you be a receiver?
For sure.
They've been doing this, but it used to be, we're going to do this until we make you actually change position. And very few actual black quarterbacks.
We saw it with Terrell Pryor a little bit. I'm drawing a blank on other guys, but there are other guys that were drafted as quarterbacks that
Yeah.
change
Got
positions.
Yeah,
Right?
Position.
because that's what
Denard
the NFL
Robinson.
pushes you to do. Antoine Randall L. I mean, the NFL pushes for that.
Right.
So now guys are pushing back. No, I'm a quarterback because that's what Lamar Jackson
That's
kept
what
saying.
Lamar
I played
Jackson,
quarterback
for
my
sure,
whole
for
life. I'm a quarterback. Jalen Hurts, same thing. The man was in the Super Bowl throwing for 300 yards just a year ago.
Just got paid as a quarterback.
But 3 years before that, are you going to change position? This is what black quarterbacks
Vick,
have been
they
going
going to
through the
Michael Vick to
entire
play running
time.
back.
Right.
So it's a big deal when two quarterbacks are that level of successful to the hey, these are the two guys in the Super Bowl. Man, apparently they can play the position. So yeah, when you have an NFL draft where the first 3 quarterbacks are black, that has never happened. So it's history. So I know saying like, oh, 3 black quarterbacks, but it's literal history, and any other history will be reported on.
For sure, and I think like I've seen the headline on TikTok and Instagram of that, and that's why I brought it up. But I don't necessarily agree with is it the racist thing to say? But I think I kind of use it as like a motivation. The one thing I always say is everybody can start out in a different. Everybody starts out in a different position in life, whether you're poor, rich, in the middle, wherever you're at. Everybody has an opportunity to get that to that end goal. But some journeys a little harder than somebody else's, and you can make everything out of it that you want out of it. But the only person you have to blame is yourself for not working hard enough to get out of that situation.
Facts.
And I think that somebody that an African American that's in poverty, that could be down, sees that headline. I want to be like Bryce Young. I want to be like C.J. Stroud, and it allows them to motivate themselves to get to that point. And I think I use it as a motivational tactic or factor in. Hey, I might be in a bad situation now, but I'm able to be one of those guys come when I'm 19, 20 years old, able to push myself through. And I don't have an issue with it, but I've seen a lot of backlash on social media that says, hey, we're trying to reform here. Why is this being brought up as a topic?
It'll be brought up until it's a normal thing. Like once it becomes this is just it's typical. Like, oh yeah, 5 quarterbacks were selected, 3 were black, 2 were white. Now it's not a big deal anymore.
Right.
But it was the first time it ever happened. So it is news. Like, and as it was happening, just to, as a regular human, I was noticing. I was sitting there, I was texting Mike, man, the top 2 quarterbacks was black guys. That's major. Damn, 3 quarterbacks in the top 5 black? Because it's a major thing. It's never happened.
For sure.
Never happened.
Like it's never happened.
Well,
period.
even like in baseball for the Marlins GM, right?
Right.
Like first, and it was like new. It was hard. It was just big news for it just to be Asian woman is now a GM, and it's just like I want to see the rings. I don't know if when they're going to win a World Series and whatnot, but. I don't know. I don't know if I really cared to hear if it was like Asian or whatnot. I want to see the rings. Like I want to see victories. Like meritocracy is a thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's how she will be judged. Like, and at the end of the day, same thing with these quarterbacks, same thing with anybody. You either go in that motherfucker and win or you coming out.
Exactly.
Like that's still gonna happen. So it can be celebrated that hey, these 3 kids, if they go in there and they suck ass, they're gonna all be out of the NFL soon.
For sure.
Their leash is not gonna be very long. I don't give a fuck
Performance
I don't give a fuck how excited we were and how historical it was.
Just
you will
like
be out of there. So and
just
I think
as
it's
they was
okay,
in,
though.
they'd be out.
Right.
I think it's okay to say,
think it's
hey
okay.
man, the first Asian woman to be, that's major in a high ass position. Like, that's a high ass position. That's typically a white man's position. It's not a white woman's position. It's not a black man's position. It's not an Asian woman's position. It's a white man's position. So for her to be in that position, that's a major thing. Now, if she fails, guess what? She'll get the same treatment that those white men before her have gotten because they all are judged the same way. You get your ass out of here if you're not getting us wins. If you don't get the rings, we'll see you later.
Right. What have you done for me lately?
It was cool. We had the historical moment. You have failed miserably. Peace. She's going to get the same thing that they would get. So at the end, the results are what matters. But some of this shit needs to be celebrated because it needs to be a point where we don't need to celebrate it.
Exactly.
And that's what I think it really comes down to. It has to get to a point where we don't even have to have the conversation. Like every year at the end of the NFL season, you know what conversation is going to come up? Black head coaches.
Black head coaches. What's the ratio?
Black owners. Shit
Right.
like
Yeah.
that.
Black owners is not even a conversation.
No.
Because that doesn't exist. So that's not even one to be had. But black coaches is a thing. Like 70% of your players are black.
Right.
10% are coaches. I
Well,
mean,
you know
just on a mathematical level, that already seems off.
Yeah.
You're telling me none of these people that played the game are capable?
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
the problem
but the
is
people who
that-
are making the decisions look like the people who are there choosing.
That makes sense,
And it'll go back
right?
to the
It never
meritocracy
will.
that you spoke on in the reverse. So
Yeah.
you're a baseball guy and maybe you don't know these names, but in the NFL it's Eric Bieniemy. Everything is about your success level, correct? That's how you should be going up or going down.
For sure.
This man has been a winner. Like, I think it's fair to say this man has. So he's been on Super Bowl staff after Super Bowl staff.
Right.
He's got the best offense in the league 5 years in a row. He's yet to receive a head coaching job. He happens to be black. I don't think there's like a hard draw into why he hasn't gotten a job.
Right.
But because we've seen offensive coordinators get head coaching jobs who've never called a play, because I don't know they like to throw out there. Well, does he call the plays? That's the question.
And that's the thing.
I saw a man who's never even been an OC get that job
it.
multiple times. And Matt Nagy, who came from the same system,
Got a
under
job.
the same coach, he got a job.
Right.
Why? Because the same coach exists, right? Which means, guess what Matt Nagy wasn't doing? Calling the plays. And I can name countless coaches who didn't call the plays, who got the job before this guy. The success is there. There's no failure. You have none of the off the field issues where you can say, well, he had this thing or that thing. What is the thing that's stopping him from getting the opportunity to fail or succeed?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, everybody's getting an opportunity. Either you're going to do well with it or you're going to not.
Right.
Why isn't he getting the opportunity that other guys are getting?
At the end of the day, is once you address that issue, the other one becomes a larger, glaring problem in the face of those people who have made that decision for whatever extended amount of time they've been in the role making that position or that decision for those positions. I think there's a slight change happening now. I read an article that was talking about the NBA now opening up the ability for players to invest in teams. Right. And there's more to it. They can invest in teams. They can gamble on games. They can do these other things. And it's the NBA and WNBA. So that you can invest in both. Now, there's always been a paywall into the billions. Right. No player's just going out and buying a team.
No.
Jordan, a very rare exception.
Well, he's Jordan.
Right.
He's
that guy.
Right.
Just name another, right? Before Jordan, that was just out being like, I'm gonna own and going out and buying teams. It wasn't
I think
happening.
we
Right,
also
outside of
need
Magic,
to throw in the
outside of Magic.
caveat
Right.
that Michael Jordan is a media and NBA created entity.
Right? No.
So
I'm
they're
not
going to allow
arguing
him.
that point.
No,
What I'm saying is
they're going to allow him to do it because what he does for them.
But
on a
Magic's
different
been
level.
involved in owning teams, owning the Dodgers, like partially owning.
Magic has enough money.
Right.
Magic definitely got
Jordan is a majority owner. That shit ain't happening for black people. Most
sure.
of the time because they don't have the money, and definitely not the players.
So here's
'Cause they don't
the
have that kind of
question.
money.
Same scenario. Now we're talking about is ownership, not positions, but it's the exact same structure built into these organizations. There's a paywall. You're going to be kept out because as an owner, am I ever going to pay a player enough to be at my level? No, that's just bad business, right?
Right, we saw it with Lamar Jackson.
yeah, I'm
In
never
any
gonna-
contract negotiations, right?
Yes,
A
absolutely.
player is never going to get a deal done without an agent because it just goes around that he has more leverage than
Well,
me.
he got the deal done. The problem was he was looking for guaranteed money, and they weren't going to allow him to change their infrastructure as the only league that does not allow guaranteed contracts.
Correct,
So once we, so
100%
the whole
what you
thing
said,
happened
bro.
with Deshaun Watson, and all the owners pitched a bitch. This thing wasn't about race. I know people want to
It
make
wasn't
this
at
about
all.
race.
It
This
was
wasn't
not at
about
all.
race. This is about green. We're not going to allow this to change the dichotomy around here.
Right.
So essentially, once we allow that, if it happens a second time, it's the norm now. Every quarterback after him, Joe Burrow is on his way up. You know what
Right.
Joe Burrow would have got?
Joe Burrow's going to get
He would've got
55 a year.
But if Lamar gets a guarantee, your whole guarantee, guess what? Joe Burrow's his whole guarantee.
Right.
And then you got the fucking kid that's really going to end up being a loser all the time for the rest of his life because he came from Oregon.
Stop.
Whatever
Stop.
that quarterback's
Stop.
name is, he's going to come up.
Stop.
And he's going to get all
Staley's
his
the
money.
reason that they're losing.
Listen, I'm not here to talk about why that man's a failure. All I'm saying is he's going to get his
He's
money.
not.
So his contract would have been guaranteed.
I think time's up.
So what they're
This is
trying
credible
to do,
until this point here.
what they're doing is they're making
think a
sure
I think a
that's
couple
never
people
a
just showed
thing.
up at the
You know,
door.
they're never allowing that to be a norm.
Right.
Like, so they're like, the Deshaun Watson thing happened. We hate that it happened. Cleveland did a desperate thing. We're not allowing this to catch on.
Exactly. And Cleveland
Because
did it.
if he gets it, everybody's getting it from now on. They're
Right.
like, no, we're not allowing that to happen. So that was more of a, and that's the same thing with ownership. And I mean, these guys have to vote on owners.
Right, Cleveland did that
Right.
shit because they were just so desperate.
Cleveland
they had
was
to get
desperate.
somebody. They decided.
But-
They just did it with. It had Lamar came
Yeah,
out a
they
year
would have
early.
did it to Lamar. Yes,
They
they would have did it
got
with
it, you
whoever.
know what I'm saying?
But the owners are able to say, stop that guy from getting in. So it's not also about money. Because at the
Right.
end of the day, it's 32 owners. They all happen to be of a certain persuasion. And they're like, we don't want you in here. Because there are black people who can afford it, who have been interested and have not been able to get in. Magic is able to get in because he's under somebody else's umbrella, who happens to look like the other owners. They don't care if you're involved. You can't be the guy.
Yeah, I think that the owners do
Except
show
for Shad Khan.
for sure. But I do think that the owners have their clique, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that's a majority consensus. If you talk to the average fan or people within the room, right, or in the building, right?
No, absolutely.
But these guys are a clique, right? You're one of 30 or 32 people, depending on what sport you have.
And it's like it goes back to
out
what
of over 8
but
billion.
it goes
We
back
are
to what
of-
we were talking about before. Are you going to be the one guy that stands against the 31? Because now they're going to turn on you.
You're gonna definitely.
So it's the
turn on
same
you.
thing with the
Right.
cop. It's the same thing with the teacher. It's the same thing with the athletes on the team. I'm going to ride with my people.
Yeah.
So if I'm not a racist and I'm all for you getting in, I'm all for it. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Right.
29 of the guys here are racist. Guess what's not going to happen? I'm not damn sure putting my stake on the table for you to get in. So I might not be racist, but I do give a fuck about my family and my way of
But it
living.
goes back to what we were talking about earlier. You know what? It's not about the government, fuck you, ever as a majority. I'm worried about myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to take away from everybody else so I can eat.
Exactly.
They're not, and like you said, they might not be racist, but they're not going to say, I'm not going to lose my share.
It only takes a couple of people to be racist, and then the other guys to not want to. So, like, let's just say, sticking to the NFL, let's just say Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft are racist. The other 30 good people love everybody.
Right.
Don't give a fuck about none of that. You turning on Jerry Jones? He got the biggest mouth of all of them. He's the one. Like at the end of the day, he hasn't won since 1995. But everybody in the world knows who Jerry Jones is.
Right.
You're not going against Jerry Jones. And Robert Kraft is the one that wins all the
Right.
time.
Right.
Maybe not anymore, but he's got the most championships. He's the
He was
one.
a winner.
You're not going against these two guys. You're asking to get kicked out of this whole situation. And guess what you're not going to do? Risk that.
Right.
I wouldn't.
You're not gonna go against.
I wouldn't.
them
I don't give a
people
fuck how much I believe in. When you tell me like, hey, you believe in so much, we don't want to pay you anymore. I mean, he
I don't
ain't
believe
that
in him
good. Actually, I think he suck a little bit. I mean, like at that point, I'm gonna just pull back. Like it ain't that I don't want him here, but I don't care that much to where I'm gonna affect my personal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
So
about
that's-
personal gain.
That's
It's
more
about
so
what
what it
can I
comes
do for
down to. I
myself?
never think the racist is the majority. I always think, hey, there's the one racist guy. It's how loud is that guy? That's the question. How loud is the racist guy?
Right.
If he's Jerry Jones, he's fucking loud.
And that,
That dude is yelling
and
into a bullhorn.
that has nothing to do with money. That is power.
That's power.
Definitely power.
That power outranks
Definitely.
every
Fucking
dollar in that
Jerry
room.
Jones is the guy.
Yeah.
Collectively,
Period. You got it.
there's
Him and-
multiple
between him and
billions.
Kraft.
Yeah.
There's multiple billions collectively amongst the 30x of people, but this one dude has more power in this room than the collective billions combined.
If you look at
Everybody's-
Dan Snyder, he should have been gone.
Oh, 100%.
He should have been gone. You know when he got gone? When they decided he is trying to hurt us.
Right.
Like as long as
When
he
it's
was
a
out
bad
there,
look for me,
exactly.
now you're gone.
As long as he was out there
Right.
having all these
Shit
assaults
falling on my
and
plate.
all of that type of shit going on, it was kind of like, yeah, you know, that's his thing. We're not worried about it. He do whatever he do over there. We don't care. Soon as it was, hey, I'll tell on some of the shit y'all be doing. All of a sudden, collectively, hey, this is good. He got to go.
Right.
And now he's selling his team.
Right.
All the time, though, with all of the racist shit and all of the sexual shit, he never was in trouble with having to sell his team until he turned on them.
Yeah.
And then they immediately turned on him. Like, until it affects my bottom line, I don't give a fuck what you do. But the minute anything come across my ticker, talk about you trying to take 10 cents,
We got a problem.
You gotta
It's
go.
an instant problem.
Yeah.
yeah, it's an instant problem.
Anytime
So
your
it's
shit,
always gonna come back to how
anytime
this
your
is gonna
shit
affect
leak
me
off your
personally.
plate, leak on the mind. It's a problem.
Yeah, and they're not about to fuck around and find out. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
that.
they're not gonna fuck around and find out. He gonna fuck around and find out. He fucked around and found out.
Fuck around and find out.
Immediately, shit.
Do not pass go. Do not collect
Soon as the
200.
news
Don't
came
collect
out
that
that he was,
200.
soon as the news came out that he was talking about, oh well, I got dirt on people. The next week, his team was up for sale.
Yeah.
That's how I go. As long as you ain't affecting me, I mean, I care, but I don't.
I
care.
don't.
Yeah.
As soon as you're affecting me, I care a lot.
But yeah, I think you see it with all the player like the lawsuits and what do you call them? Not assaults, but accusations, right? On these guys, right? Until something really comes out, you look at John Gruden, right? Had all the issues, right? All of a sudden, you're affecting me and my publicity. You're gone.
Gone
But,
instantly.
but
It doesn't-
even that, this is
And people knew how bad he was, but until it got put out there, now you're affecting me.
this the bigger issue I have with that, and it's going to touch on something totally different, but that's happening a lot in America. He had two things going on. One was racist. That came out first. And it was like, you saw a lot of people coming, oh, well, it was so long ago. You know, everybody should just take it easy. It's not a big deal. You had Tony Dungy on TV. Oh, you know, I know the guy. He's not like that. You had Stephen A on TV. Oh, no, he's not that kind of guy. 2 days later, it came out that he made some comments about about homosexuality. He was fired that night. That's the difference in this country between what this country cares about. And right now, it's 100% about LGBTQ. That's the big bully on the block. You cannot, if you do anything to bother them, your ass is grass.
And I think, I think it's the
Mowed grass.
Mowed
grass, man.
It's the narrative of what the media wants to push and what's going to drive the click and the views, right? All across social media platforms is what you see. It's Pride Month. It's Pride Game. It's Pride. What do? You man or woman or whoever you want to be, do what you got to do. You're not affecting me. Don't bring it on me. I'm not going to bring my straightness upon you. But it's being put into our...
Forced.
It's forced, and it's
forced, man.
0.5%
They got
of
that
the
shit in
population, not
cartoons,
even...
bro.
Right, and it's to a point where, like you said, it's the media that drives the ratings and the clicks, and it drives the funding for these things. Like you said, he got fired 2 days later because of that.
Immediately. Like, oh no, you can't call no or whatever it is that he was saying.
Look at the baby
that led to that.
Look at the rapper, the baby. He
murdered
him. He murdered a motherfucker and was able to still become a rapper. But he said some shit about the people. They
come for you.
They shut him down.
Crazy.
Like, you can kill a motherfucker.
Yeah, that's the thing right there.
You can't say nothing wild about the LGBT.
Immediately. Yeah,
you can take a life and have more consideration than coming after the alphabet gang.
And a lot of times it's not even coming after them. That's the real problem I have with it.
So
it's not necessarily like
ABCs
it's not necessarily coming after them. Like if I'm a comedian, I'm literally going to go out here and talk about everybody. There's nobody you don't talk about as a comedian.
Everybody in this room can have opinion but me.
Yeah.
And if I voice my opinion, guess what? You're canceled.
Yeah,
Forget it. You're done.
trash.
Yeah.
It don't matter what it is about it. I just
Don't
I
say
can't have
it.
opinion.
Whatever it is, it's trash.
You
You're
absolutely
canceled.
cannot say anything
Say
about
nothing.
gay
If you
people
with them or you either with them or
going
against
down.
them. That's how they look at it.
Well, I mean, okay, so I was gonna
Unless you Dave Chappelle.
I wasn't gonna bring this up, but we clearly are steering in this
Chappelle don't give a
direction.
fuck.
You don't.
Bud Light.
You beat me to it.
Do you know what the Bud Light thing?
What's going on?
Oh, okay.
Oh, Bud Light had like a gay situation.
Yeah.
I feel like
LGBTQ.
What about Bud Light? I heard something
trans
about
people,
Bud Light, but
yeah.
I didn't.
In a nutshell,
they got like a spokesperson.
they did a promo, right, for Dylan Mulvaney. Do you know who that is?
No.
Okay, so let's take a back a step. Dylan Mulvaney is a biological man who transitioned into being a girl.
Okay.
He started a YouTube channel or a TikTok or Insta Twitter, whatever, right? Doing the social media, you know, X number of days of girlhood, day 1, day 2, all the way to 365. And it transitioned from girlhood to womanhood. So he started getting sponsors, makeup, all these other things, right? Well, one of those was Bud Light. Bud Light sent him a custom can on his day 365. They paid him the whole 9. Right? Nutshell, the VP of marketing terminated.
Yeah, it should have been.
Her boss.
Yo, bruh, the people who buying your product is
Her
not about that
boss.
life.
Wasn't it a leave of absence? Is what
Yeah, that's what they put it.
That's
It's
how they put it.
unpaid
Yeah.
leave of
Bud Light
absence.
all this time, they ain't gave me a motherfucking nothing.
Yeah.
I
So
better
Kid
get a
Rock.
refund on
So
the
the
can.
day they launch it, she does whatever. I get confused. So the Dylan Mulvaney does the social media thing that Dylan Mulvaney does. Kid Rock jumps on social media with cases of Bud Light and just takes an MP5 to him, right?
Grandpa's getting kind of
Grandpa's
fisky and he
getting kinda
turns
grumpy
around
and he just lets them ride. So this domino effects happen. Now they're being boycott. Their stock plummets.
Yes.
They lose over $5 billion.
Yeah, because you didn't pay attention to who gives you your money. Like at the end of the day, I'm all for inclusion. I don't give a fuck what you got going on. To be honest, I never understood the big deal about it. It's, hey, I don't care who you want to have sex with. I don't care who you want to have sex with. I don't give a fuck who you want to have sex with. It's not my business. I don't care. As long as it ain't me. If y'all want to have sex with me, we got some problems. Outside of that, I don't give a fuck. So I never understood this big deal about all of it. But at the end of the day, if I know the people who I sell my particular product to are not people who are fans of this type of thing,
I'm not
going to like, and I might stand to the side and not say anything, but I'm definitely not going to start pushing
right.
it.
True that.
Because now they're going to look at me like, what the fuck you got going
But
on?
you look at all the other companies that
trying to
make beer,
appease now?
pop, whatever. We don't see them coming out and saying and doing the same thing, right? Sometimes less is more. Don't say anything at all.
Just let it
Sometimes less
be.
is more, bro.
Yeah,
But see,
just let it be.
but that's my whole issue with that. It's because I have so many friends that are, oh, you had a Bud Light, and it's like, yeah, I had a Bud Light. I had one, on Easter with my dad. But if I knew the political, convictions of every single partner donor of Bud Light, you're telling me that you would still drink Bud Light?
Right. Exactly.
That's my issue with that.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why I would still drink it. I think it was a bad strategy. Don't get me wrong, but
it turns into marketing and memes and all these things on Twitter. A guy goes to the bar, drinks a beer, acts all fruity, changes cups. Oh, this is I'm a man now. Right? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, because it says Bud Light, now you you support them. No, I just like the beer, man.
The videos that came
What the
out
fuck?
after were absolute gold. The humor factor alone, not taking the cause into effect,
Right.
but just the creativity of the internet. The one guy who went into the cooler to grab a Bud Light and started twerking, and he was like, "What was that?" His buddy's like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "I think I'm fine." He grabs it again. He starts twerking again. I can't, the internet was like, "We are on fire today." Well, that
internet
all
was internet.
stemmed from one bad decision that 1 billion times trickled into bad decisions, and now sales numbers have dropped all because one person decided that they were going to jump on the woke agenda and take it to the extreme and say, "Oh, customer base, what's that?" And then the internet was like, "Hold my beer."
Literally.
Literally, right? And then it just
For real.
to the moon and back.
Nope. You got to know who supports your
Gotta know you
product.
buy your shit. Yeah.
Got to.
Yeah, like you said, support your product. You may not agree with everything, like you said, but
yeah,
say
I can
something
know your
totally
customer
disagree
base,
with
right?
them, but yeah, it's like if I knew every partner's like convictions on all that, would you still be drinking Bud Light? And a lot of people would say no,
And the truth
which I
of the
think is
matter-
crap.
And it's the same thing, like you're saying, it's absolutely correct. Because again, if I being a black person who doesn't like racism, if I literally looked into every company that has some racists on the board,
Right.
I would be walking around this motherfucker naked and afraid.
For real.
I would be those people. I would be naked and afraid. There's no way I'm looking into Nike and really getting to know everybody's personal agenda and coming away like, yeah, there's not a single racist there.
Right.
There's one out there. It has to
Believe
be.
that. Believe
It just is what it is. So yeah, there's one gay person out there. Like there's one of everything in
That
everything.
you dislike.
Like, it's too many people.
You're gonna find it.
It's
Yeah.
too many
Right.
people in these companies
Too
and
many
these
people.
organizations that have been around for all this time. Like
Well, take
Bud
a
Light
moment.
has been around since like the 30s or some shit.
Take a moment and consider that these are publicly traded companies.
Right.
So
Right.
their owners are the public.
Yeah, it's everybody. Anybody who got a stock or a share.
So when you say,
that'd
"Oh
be
man, I
crazy.
take into consideration, the board members, the CEO, this position, the VPs, etc." You go, "Okay, I get that, but it's a publicly traded company
Yeah.
owned by public, and the public is a group of assholes."
Now, if you come out as the owner or whatever and you say the racist shit, now I'll pull back my support.
But how does the owner go out and say, well, we didn't really mean that, but now you're going to get another community that's going to uproar about it as well, right?
You put yourself in a position. You should have just
There you
stayed
go.
quiet.
You should
It's a
just stay
double-edged
quiet.
sword where you fucked up the first time, you found out.
You can't. If you continue to fuck,
You don't want to find out. You don't
Still
want to find out.
The truth of the matter is, the other problem with that whole situation is that's never going to, like, you showing them your support is never going to turn into them supporting you enough to replace the people who you kind of just turned your back on.
Right.
Like, that's never going to happen. It's not enough of them to make up for what you're going to lose.
Right.
Like, point blank period, numbers wise. So if every single person in the LGBTQ community, because I don't want to be disrespectful,
Yeah, so don't forget a single letter.
you can't.
know
do
that.
If every single one of them jumped on your bandwagon and said we're going to support, it's just not enough of them numerically to replace what you're going to lose.
And that's what we've been talking about this whole time. Everything stems down to the almighty dollar.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's all
What's going to make me money? Can we make enough money to justify what we're going to do?
And when you lose $5 billion the first week,
Man, you lose $5 billion over time. That still hurts.
here's the thing: where were all
I lose $5 and I'm freaking out.
$5 down? I got questions.
Right.
But where were all these supporters when you were bleeding into the billions? Right? You take this change, you make
There's
this
nothing they can
decision.
do.
That's what I'm saying. Like you take this route. Okay, that decision is made. It is cemented in history. It is a part of the lexicon at this point. So you pick your poison, you take the ride, and your bulk, your base, your support system gives you the middle finger. Where are all of these supporters that you just attached yourself to? Why are they not supplementing your $5 billion loss? Where are
They're
they?
not going to.
Right.
I would say from just a numerics perspective, you hitched your wagon.
Wrong. Put that
You know what I'm
motherfucker on the wrong
saying?
truck. Shit.
Rubber bands and hope is holding this together, right? You had a solid situation going, and now you made one bad decision, and then
One
you
bad
dominoed
decision,
it.
man.
And then it wasn't even the company; it was one person and then somebody co-signed that co-sign who co-signed somebody else's co-sign.
And it could have been the owner that co-signed it, right? Thinking that this is, we're going to show our support, right? But now everybody below you and you have to take a fall for it.
And nobody's going to be like, I made that decision.
Right.
Nobody above you stepping up and being like, no,
go.
it was me.
Right.
That's that accountability
You just got
factor.
thrown under every bus in the parking lot. Nobody is jumping in front of
School
the
just
next
got
one.
School
Yeah.
just got out.
No. Hey, did you see her get hit? Ouch. Right. Now we're all in our office with the door closed watching you get scraped off the proverbial parking lot.
Yeah.
And now the numbers are just plummeting.
Sometimes it's just okay to sit back and watch, dog.
The funny part, though, is when the other
say
companies were making fun of Bud Light, and then Coors numbers jumped, Miller's numbers jumped, other companies were
Well, those
making
guys
memes.
didn't stop drinking beer.
Say what?
Everybody else was going to jump regardless because they
By
didn't
default.
stop drinking beer.
Yeah,
They're
It's
like,
as simple as
fuck you, Bud Light. Let me go get this
that
other
cool.
beer. I'm
Yeah,
still
forget
getting
that
some
cool.
beer
Yeah.
drinking. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna,
Forget that make a
I
lot.
definitely ain't going into AA about it. Shit, I'm still
The
going to
country
drink.
didn't just start going
No,
sober.
no,
or
I'm
You
anything
know what I'm
like
saying?
that.
Like,
So,
there
But
was,
it
we're
got
not opening
to-
speakeasies.
so
Motherfuckers
far
still
as
drinking.
it got so far as we're changing lyrics and song because I had a cold Bud Light versus now it's a cold Coors Light because I'm worried. I don't
Bradley
want to be
Green's concert.
represented.
Nobody
Yeah.
wants to even have that in their orbit.
Right.
Nope. Because
I don't even call friends Bud anymore.
Because again, I really don't have shit to
What
do
up,
with
bud?
it, and I don't
No.
care. But I don't want to be affected negatively because
That's what it
I'm
is.
looked at as.
And now
having
people are
something to do
taking the
with it.
negative publicity from Bud Light and they're growing their own person, right?
And that's
They're
what it
growing
is.
their own following.
They're
Nobody
riding
wanna
out
be
your
affected.
negativity like the
Yeah.
biggest tsunami wave in history.
And then eventually,
But
I'm
they don't
sure
come,
it'll
man,
come
you know,
back, right? But
they don't play.
They'll
They
take
let it
the high
ride.
right now.
They'll pile it up on you too, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They'll pile that shit on you. Everybody can't take that.
The internet don't care about your
Internet
hardship.
don't give a fuck.
Wait, not at
Internet is
all.
actually happy about it because now they got something to
They
talk
got
about.
something to talk about. Yeah. And it's gonna be in the cycle as many times as you're willing to indulge in the chaos. We're gonna be like, next.
right.
There's
Yeah,
always
right.
something.
Yeah.
Like
There's
you said,
always
they
And half
have
the
this
shit just gonna get shared over and over again because somebody thinks it's funny. I don't give a fuck one way or another about it, but this shit was funny. I'm sharing it.
Yeah.
I laughed. Somebody
And how,
else needs
and
to
how
laugh
many
too.
apps now let you remix a remix on top of a remix? You know what I mean? Like, I saw a video the other day. There was 7 people that had been remixed so many times, so they had these little squares, right, of the number of people who had previously remixed it, and everybody had their little. It was hilarious, but that's the internet.
It is.
Motherfuckers
Right?
are still a status they saw and rewrite it like it's their status.
Oh,
like people,
absolutely.
the internet is the internet.
Yeah,
It's just-
yeah.
It's a copycat world.
Yeah, the internet is a wild.
If you
fucking
find
place.
that you will not support something because a hateful individual might be supported by it, get off the internet.
yeah, immediately.
Yeah, you.
Call Comcast. Call
Cut
whoever.
that Wi-Fi. Cut that Wi-Fi.
Yeah, cut the Wi-Fi off.
Cut the Wi-Fi.
As soon as you click on any app, you are supporting somebody who's
Yeah.
done some reckless, questionable, borderline or way over type shit. So whether it's beer or restaurants, how many people hated Chick-fil-A for being closed on Sundays?
A lot of people
Because it was
still
their-
do.
Right.
Still do to this day.
because they care
like-
more about what I want.
That's
I
their
want
personal
a
way,
chicken
their
sandwich
personal
today.
want. Yeah,
I don't give a
exactly.
fuck
I don't
about
give a
your.
fuck how
They're
your
religious,
religion is.
right?
It was
They don't
based
want-
on a religious belief, and they
Right.
were like, "We hate you because you give your employees a guaranteed day off."
When I want some nuggets.
When I want some nuggets. However,
that a
every time
bitch.
I pass by any Chick-fil-A, there is a line
A ridiculous
around
line.
the
Yeah.
block.
And it should be because Chick-fil-A good.
Like I couldn't even.
and
I
the
was trying to go
service
to,
is
to
dope.
Lowe's one day, and could I get into the parking lot I was trying to get into because the Chick-fil-A line was that excessive?
And the Chick-fil-A, it ain't the food good, but it's not that good.
Thank
the reason
you.
you go to Chick-fil-A
fine.
is
It's
because
the
they got a
service.
motherfucker in the parking lot, dog, taking your order. It's a motherfucker out here
service,
walking.
nigga.
I'm
Boy,
getting through
listen,
this
dog.
service.
I'm at this thing because my man is serious with his shit. Like he
Yeah.
cares. Like
Yeah,
they,
yeah.
it's
Cold
two,
as
it's
hell.
2-3 motherfuckers out there with iPad taking your order, and I'm 32 cars back, bro.
But guess what? It's going to take the same time to get through 32 cars as it is.
Sure is.
10 cars at McDonald's.
Sure,
Yeah,
that's
sure
right.
is.
Yeah,
That line is
because they
moving.
all
And
on
you're
it.
only talking to one
Yeah.
person. And then when
Right.
you get your shit at McDonald's, you're missing your apple pie.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Chick-fil-A
saying?
be on this way. It's the service that you go to
Missing your
Chick-fil-A
nuggets.
for. The food is
The
decent,
service
but
is
man, it's the
phenomenal,
service.
right?
You be
They
like,
really
"God damn,
want it.
These motherfuckers really care.
They really want that
They
shit.
be raining and shit. They be out there with their little
Yeah.
ponchos.
They
and
hush
shit.
down.
Yeah.
Sometimes
My
when you come,
pleasure.
sir, you
My
forgot your,
pleasure.
you forgot your, you forgot your receipt. Like, damn, nigga, I don't give a fuck about that, but thanks.
You could have kept that goddamn
Kept
receipt.
that.
Yeah, they awesome shit.
Yeah, but that makes you want to go. It's convenient. The food is good. It's hot. It's ready. It's me. Okay, cool. I'm
And you
here
say
for
the
it.
service
And the
is-
biggest gripe is I can't come on Sundays.
It do be a gripe though. Shit, you be in the motherfucking. You went on vacation and shit. You come
I ain't
back on
gonna
a
lie.
Sunday. You in the airport. I'm finna go get some.
Damn.
No, the fuck I'm not.
Man, fuck
I mean,
Chick-fil-A.
I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes I get mad a little bit when I want it and I see it and it's not available and I'm like, damn,
I
it
don't
is
go
Sunday.
because
Son
of the
a
line.
bitch.
No, I know. I definitely could
But
respect that.
I
That
challenge
line
you
be
to
real.
go and you go through that line. I guarantee you're not in that line for more than
You're not.
10
Yeah,
minutes.
the line
You're not.
move way faster than you expect it to
However-
move. Motherfuckers is just in that thing. Like
that-
it ain't long because it's slow service.
It's long because they
because
just keep
motherfuckers
going.
really want that product. So
However, I will stay in a Portillo's line in a blizzard without hesitation. If you guys haven't been to Portillo's, there is
It's
one
good,
nearby
but
now.
it's-
It is. Oh my god!
So you got to
is
get it from
amazing.
Chicago though.
The one
Yeah.
here is on point.
what is
one here
Portillo's?
is-
It's
What-
okay. It's on Hall Road. It's okay.
It's not. It's okay. I'm
What kind of
bro.
food is
I
it?
mean that
hot
motherfucker.
dog, like
I just was in that
Chicago
bitch
style
last
hot
couple
dogs.
weeks
Never
ago
going to
in
Portillo's.
Chicago.
No chance.
Oh
Fuck a hot
man,
dog.
you got to get that bitch with the raw and grilled onion.
I don't
on
like
the wrong
Chicago
day.
either, so no disrespect.
Yeah,
Not
I
showing
found-
up to any place where hot dogs is their thing. I'm never coming.
I've
I'm just
never been to a
showing
restaurant
up
that I'm
there.
like, this
Hot
is
dogs
like.
ain't their thing. They just
It's
sell
not.
them.
I said, what do they sell?
The
Y'all
Chicago
motherfuckers
dog.
immediately say hot dogs.
No, don't say y'all. They are not.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, I said that's the kind of the thing.
Italian beef.
I'm not fucking with
They
a
are
place
known
if that's
for Italian
even one
beef.
of the top 3 things you come out your mouth with. Hey, what they sell? Hot
Italian
dogs.
beef. I go for the Italian beef. I've never
sell
gotten
hot
He,
dogs.
he don't like glizzies. He's
I've
not a
never gotten a
glizzy.
weenie. I've never gotten a weenie from Portillo's. I
You
always
got weenies?
I'm about 46
Portillo,
years
it's
old.
okay. I mean, I haven't had their
I don't
Italian
eat
beef.
I don't eat glizzies, motherfucker. I eat hot dogs.
I don't eat any of that shit.
Man,
Bro. I don't
fuck that. I wish a nigga would tell me. You eating a glizzy?
He's a
I'll
glizzy.
blow
He's
your
a
shit
glizzy
out.
gladiator over there.
I'll
Watch
blow your
out. He's
shit out
coming
and
for
I'm
you.
gonna eat my hot
A
dog. You
GG.
ain't finna fuck up my
On the back of your softball uniform, we're gonna call you glizzy gladiator.
Motherfucker
gladiator.
Motherfucker called a hot dog a delicacy.
See, as someone that has never done Portillo's before, I really don't know how to go about this.
You should
now.
go.
I really don't know how to go about
Don't let
this.
any of this conversation throw you off. It's
Okay.
fine.
Go to Chicago.
I've been to Chicago like 6 times.
and you never had an.
I don't fucking eat hot dogs. Are we missing this part? Like, I'm not going to no place if that's what they thing is. Like, oh yeah, we got the best
For
hot
the
dogs in the
14
world.
for the
Okay, well, I'm
14
going
times,
Yeah.
it's not their thing. It's
I
just
don't
something
care.
on the
If
menu.
I ask, hey, what do they sell? And motherfuckers start saying hot dogs, it's their thing, bro.
Well,
It's their thing.
Well,
If this same conversation would have been about Uno's and I would have said I never heard of it, what do they sell? What would y'all have said?
Pizza.
Cards.
Pizza, right? He's a dick.
I know where I see where you're going
He
with
said
that.
pizza.
Draw two.
Right, because that's their thing. It ain't because they don't sell chicken tenders. It's because pizza's their thing. You motherfuckers said hot dogs. I'm not showing up to that place. That's all I'm saying.
You
Dog.
ain't got to. Just
More for everybody, I guess.
You
More
bring
for
it next
everybody,
week. I'm definitely be
Hey,
here just
man,
for his
put all
his
the-
portion of the
Put all the
Portillo.
sausage in your mouth you want.
I will
bro.
bring you the best
You
glizzy
go ahead
you've
with
ever
it.
had.
I will
don't-
never have it.
I
That's
don't
the whole
know.
thing.
Well, I take the Italian sausage. I don't want
The
no
Italian
fucking glizzy.
sausage is fire.
That's
That's
fine.
what I
Italian
take.
sausage
I like
is
that.
it hits.
I
The
take
burgers
that.
are good.
I wish you guys
the
the best.
fries extra crispy with that hot cheese. I mean, you'll eat a good Polish, right?
Man, that
I
nigga don't
am
eat
not
shit. Don't talk to him about food, boy.
On
He
any
will-
level,
don't do
dog.
that.
I'm
Only
not
thing-
eating no
this
type of
nigga's-
sausage. I'm
he
not
eat
eating
like
no
your,
hot
he eat
dog,
like
bro.
what
It's
he
not
eat like a
happening.
6-year-old.
No, nuggets, French fries.
I mean,
hamburgers.
First of all, let's get this shit understood.
No
real
ketchup.
fast. Let's get this shit
And
understood.
he
real
will
fast.
fight you like he will fight you if you put anything near green on his plate.
Let's get this shit understood, dog. The reason I eat nuggets, because I'm a grown man, I eat nuggets. The
Yeah,
reason
bro,
I
look
eat
at this
nuggets
shit.
is because if I am
Taking
in
it
a
from the
hurry,
kids.
they cannot fuck up nuggets. They cannot make the nuggets in a way that I now cannot eat tonight. So if I'm like I gotta go to this drive-through, especially during COVID, you really it's 100 motherfuckers in the line behind you. I'ma just get whatever they end up handing me out this window. I bet not have picked up nothing that they can fuck up.
What
Because if
about
they fucked
pizza?
it up, guess what? I'm not finna
you
eat.
back in that line again and you struck.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna grab something that I know they can't fuck up. I know they can't fuck up chicken tenders. I know they can't fuck up chicken nuggets. It's just gonna be what the product is. If they don't give me sauce, I'll be mad, but I'll still eat. If you put motherfucking pickles and shit on my burger, I'm not eating. So now I'm just a hungry motherfucker.
Hold on. So no
like,
pickles,
God,
no sausage,
I don't
no
eat
hot
condiments.
dogs.
I don't
Bruh,
eat. I don't
bread,
eat
meat,
condiments.
and
I don't
cheese
eat no
on a
type
good
of
day.
vegetation. None of that shit.
On the good
So
day.
again, if you order burgers, a lot of times those things are coming on burgers. And motherfuckers make a mistake. Even if you ordered it plain, it happens. They fuck up. People fuck up.
So no mayo, no mustard.
What?
You understand
You wanna
condiments.
What's your what do you got against it? Like
You just don't eat
If
this
I
shit.
don't like the way something smells, I'm never gonna taste it. That's how I generally operate. So a lot of the stuff, if you hear me say I've never eaten it, I've probably never even tasted it. So I'm okay.
That's
with
also-
that.
that's
don't
also
eat-
why he was
this-
single for so
this
long.
motherfucker don't
I
eat
was about to
pickles.
say something, but it's not my place.
This nigga don't eat pickles. You wanna
It's
know
not
why?
my place.
Because they submerged in juice.
That shit gross as fuck. Who
He don't eat pickles
Like,
because
think
they're
about that,
submerged
though.
in
Why
juice.
the fuck would I want to eat something that's just been sitting in juice its whole life? It's
good.
Disgusting as fuck, dog. The thought of that
Why
is
do you
gross as
you
shit.
eat like the plain burger tastes like like it's grass. There's no textures. It's all bad.
What are you talking
Put a
about?
little flavor in it.
Put your cheese is your flavor, dog. Call it a day.
Cheese
and
Call it a
bun.
day.
That's the
Cheese
ketchup.
and bread,
That's
dog.
the ketchup.
No ketchup,
no.
bro.
My bad. French fries.
I don't really fuck with fries heavy like that. Like I don't really eat fries like that.
6-year-old.
I ain't against them, but I ain't
I would
really
like to
for
order
them
off.
either.
Do you have a kids menu? How many are here? One. Just me.
I find it interesting he doesn't like vegetation, but he'll fuck up an oatmeal cream pie.
I mean, shit, I ain't never seen no motherfucking kale coming out of one of them motherfuckers.
Oats,
Like
oatmeal.
kale kind of oatmeal cream pie.
Isn't oats vegetation?
Not in that form.
No, not
What you don't see me eating is oatmeal.
right.
So you don't see me eating that shit. I eat oatmeal cream pie. I eat some oatmeal cookies, motherfucker. It's the sweetness for me. Shit.
It's the cream,
The cream for me.
Oh my god.
Cream.
The nigga for here for the cream.
Oh, yeah, I don't fuck around with too
It's
much
the
food.
cream in the
I'm not
cream
gonna lie,
pie for
bro.
me.
this guy.
I'm typically gonna order a steak. That's like 90% of the time if I'm going to eat, 90% it's a steak. 10% something else. But for
So
the
when
most
they
part, it's
say
gonna be a steak.
sides, you'd be like, okay, your steak come with two sides.
It's
what are you gonna be like? Give me a side
more
of steak,
steak, yeah.
and
It's gonna
another
be-
steak.
It's gonna be a double mash, or it's gonna be a loaded baked potato and a mash.
So the baked potato isn't
But
vegetation.
loaded baked potatoes got cheese and bacon and sour cream.
It's
and,
outstanding.
Sour cream is a
But
condiment.
sour, yeah.
You gotta
but
butter
sour cream
is
the
technically a
condiment I eat.
You gotta blend it in there because if you see
Once
it
it
on
becomes
top,
okay, you
No. I fuck with sour cream. Period.
Okay.
I
Okay.
fuck with it.
Okay,
This
so
nigga's
somebody
a
put
funny
We're
What's
talking
sour
about on
cream?
burgers though. You don't put sour cream on a burger, do you?
I mean, you could like if you wanted to. No one's judging
So
you
the
right
only
now.
thing I eat sour cream on is the fucking baked potato.
No,
And I will eat it on a soft taco.
that was that salt taco. Okay, but with no lettuce though.
No lettuce.
So it's just meat, cream,
and cheese.
and
Sounds
cheese
like you.
and tortilla.
Yep.
And
Load it
you're,
up.
you're a happy guy.
I'm good. I eat to live, but I don't. Y'all people who run around and food is everything. Listen, dog, am I hungry? No. Well, I work then. I'm not looking for all the new flavors that motherfuckers be on. Oh, you don't know what you're missing. I'm okay with that. I'm alive. So whatever I'm missing hasn't stopped me from walking around this motherfucker. I'm cool. Like,
Mission
motherfuckers, oh,
accomplished.
you don't know what you're missing with this kale burger. Nah, I'm good. I'm as healthy as you are, if not healthier. I'm fine.
Right.
I'm fine. Man. When I get my yearly checkup for my insurance, you know what the lady says? Oh my God, your blood is so healthy. That's all I need to hear. So whatever I'm not eating, your blood, they test your blood. And if it's not healthy, they'll tell you.
Definitely.
I have been eating horribly since, period. Since my mom stopped making me to eat stuff. Like, cause I was fighting her about it. Like, this is a problem, Mom. We're just gonna sit at this table. Fuck this. And eventually she gave up because I was tough with it. I was just not
I will
having
wait
that
you
shit.
out.
Man, it was literal. Like at the end of the day, a parent is still gonna be a parent. They might hate the fucking hate it. This motherfucker ain't gonna make me do nothing. I'm the parent. You're gonna let me go to bed hungry? Because these are the things you got to quarrel with. You're gonna be a parent that lets the child go to bed hungry because he's a dick. Eventually, they're gonna let you eat what you want to eat. That's what I found out as a kid.
So you ain't
Because
my
I
motherfucking
went
kid.
through it with like, look, you're
gonna go to bed
All you
hungry.
need to do is
I'm
not
not
be
eating
my
these green
kid.
beans no more, dog. It's over.
Y'all would have been disappearing every night.
I would have been disappearing, dog.
Yeah, fuck it.
You say that.
CPS would have came in that motherfucker.
Y'all
They taking the
motherfuckers- y'all
child.
motherfuckers
Get
say
his
that.
little hungry ass out of here then. I tried to feed him. He don't want what I got. Fuck it. Get his little hungry ass out of here. He better off with y'all anyway. Fuck it.
It is what it is, dog.
Yeah. I would have been beating the skin off your ass in that house. You ain't finna eat this? Mm-mm. Well, you gonna be. And if you and you right, he right. It's only so many ass whoopings you gonna dish out. So you're not gonna beat him every single day. So eventually you will go to fucking bed hungry. Cause I'm the parent. I'm not losing. You're not winning. Go to bed hungry. You got a meal right in front of you, and you're choosing not to eat it because you're a dick. You starved, you little bastard, you. In my house, in my household.
That's what we all say until we're presented with the starving child.
Crazy as hell.
Just saying, dog. I was there. I was like,
I was there. I was that kid.
listen, man, this ain't even like for a while it was going. She had the power dynamics working in her favor, and eventually I just was like, man, fuck this. I'm not doing it no more. I'm not eating it. It is what it is. Listen, you can have my brother beat me. You can tell me I'm going to bed hungry. You can tell me I'm gonna sit at this table until I eat. You can tell me all that shit. When you realize I'm okay with accepting that beating, and I'm okay with going to bed hungry, and I'm okay with sitting in this motherfucker until you pull me away because I didn't went to sleep, eventually you will stop forcing me to eat that shit.
So
that's what happened.
when you realized her weakness, you then became the villain.
There was no weakness.
Well, at some point she caved. You found her weakness.
There definitely was a weakness there.
Yeah, you found her weakness.
Because if the shoe had been underfoot, you would have woke up 8 o'clock Monday morning like, damn, school already? I don't give a fuck. You would have been at that table like, damn, you gonna send me? Yo, you really gonna send me to school hungry? Nope, you choose not to eat that. You're making a decision, my guy.
Right.
Just like I can make a decision and be like, well, what do you want? Fruit Loops it is. No, you're not winning. No. You eat that or you starve.
I refuse to lose.
That's how I would have been. I promise I would have been. I have battles like that with my children now.
Yeah.
Not to that extreme, but my kids know I'm gonna no, you're not gonna tell me shit. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win. If you don't want to do it, if you don't, same thing with my son, same my daughter. You don't want to do what you think you need to do. It works like this in my household. All that kids and my opinion matters. No,
Oh no, I don't think my opinion matter. I just feel like I'm not gonna do it. Like at the end of the day, you can beat the fuck out of me. You can tell me I'm wrong. I don't care. I'm just not gonna do it.
Me and green beans will never meet.
That was never gonna happen.
See, I could deal with that, but when you don't eat nothing.
But think about it. What is really going to be forced on you as a kid at the dinner table? It's going to be the vegetables. That's really it. It ain't the condiments and shit. They don't give a fuck if you don't eat ketchup or mustard. They care if you don't eat the green beans, the sweet peas, the greens, all of that shit.
See, in my case, it was
that
different
was the beef.
because that was a little bullshit. That was, you know what I'm saying? Green beans cost 35 cents a can. Mm-hmm. You eat that steak. You eat them pork chops. No, you eat the majority.
No, see, that's the thing. Of course, I'm going to eat, but I'm not going to eat that shit. That was the beef. It wasn't like you're not eating anything tonight. It was, why is that shit still on your plate? Because I don't want that shit. Like, that's why.
Because the pork chops was delicious and this shit is ass.
See, that's the kind of household I grew up in.
I ate the macaroni, I ate the chicken. That shit is not coming. That's not coming here. It's over. That's a wrap. It's not happening.
My dad was a part of the reason why I got that theory, because I remember one time I had some, early in the morning, going to school, we had some Fruit Loops. I mean, not Fruit Loops, I'm sorry, some cornflakes with the fucking bird on it. You know, it ain't got no sugar on them bitches, so you got to use your own sugar. And guess what?
Ain't
had no motherfucking sugar. So now I'm like, damn, I don't want this shit. So just a bowl of flakes. I didn't eat it. My dad said, you ain't gonna eat that shit? I said, no, Dad, we ain't got no sugar. So what that mean? I said, I don't want it. It's no good. It has no sugar. I mean, man, you better eat that shit. And I didn't eat it. When I got home from school, every kid, he ain't do me that dirty.
It was still sitting there with that milk in it.
No, he ain't do me that dirty because the milk was spoiled. The motherfucker put in the refrigerator.
Still
and when I got home, I was, damn, I'm hungry, Dad. What we got? Eat that shit. And I was mad as hell. And if I wanted to, I had to scarf that nasty ass shit down.
Hold on, had you already poured the milk in it?
Yeah,
he wasted it. It was his point. Was you just wasted food?
And that was his point.
Yeah, his point was you wasted food. I wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
You knew when you was fixing this plate. I wasn't eating.
Friday show up at your house at that moment. Pops from Friday. That was one of them moments.
And I was so angry because I had to eat it. And I tell her, and this was like,
you was a mark ass kid. I would have ate it.
You ain't grow up with my daddy. If you grow up with my daddy,
that nigga could put the most hands on me, dog. I'm still not doing it, bro. You can beat the fuck out of me,
you grow up with my daddy, nigga. You wouldn't be either sitting here or you have a different theory on shit.
Wouldn't be sitting here.
You ain't grow up, oh nigga.
I just wouldn't be sitting here, dog. Well, that's I'm trying to tell you, dog.
R.I.P. R.I.P. My daddy ain't had no problem with doing that, nigga. Believe that. My daddy stuck my little brother.
Said R.I.P.
My daddy stuck my brother because why? My brother wasn't listening. My brother was a stubborn ass little nigga and he ain't want to listen. My daddy told him to get up and go to school. He ain't want to get up and go to school, so my daddy did the daddy thing. You're not gonna listen? No. Oh, you don't want to listen no more?
I would have never not listened to something like that. That's totally different.
Well, it's kind of hard to hear when it's banged up inside your head. You be listening when your brain rattling around.
Little bro still hold complex today. Like, man, y'all he did that because you didn't listen, you shithead. He's the dad. He's telling you to do something. You're not gonna not do it. Who the fuck are you to say I'm not doing it in my house?
I mean, if you told him at 8 a.m. you wasn't gonna eat the cereal, I feel like at 3 p.m. you probably still had the same amount of stroke. You just want to go eat shit else.
Man, shit, listen. Fuck, exactly.
I mean, stand on your... So, nigga, have some motherfucking convictions
about
yourself.
Say what you want to say, nigga.
Fuck you.
Say what you want to say. I had to eat it. My father made me eat that cereal. I ate it.
You was a bitch.
Yeah, whatever.
Like, let's just keep it real. You was a bitch.
No, whatever.
I wouldn't have ate that shit.
Well, whatever.
So he'd be like, go ahead and eat that shit. I'd be like, well, I guess I'm going to be hungry today, Pops.
Yeah, fuck you. You had that daddy. Had that daddy and still say that.
You.
So you ain't had that dad. So
well,
you can see it can sound all good until that nigga say, what you say?
I might have smacked him at that point.
He just talking.
I was cut that way.
He just talking shit. Nah,
I would have smacked my dad.
This is why we're not
like Uncle Snowfall. Slap your daddy.
This episode gonna come out.
Man, my daddy crazy as hell. Man, I ain't want to disrespect that nigga.
This episode gonna come out. Harv's son gonna see it and be like, oh, so that? Okay, you gonna put that shit to the test.
Man, please.
See,
I cave this shit in.
see what I'm talking about? See, now what if you was your kid? What if you was your motherfucking kid?
I'm never gonna be mad at them for what they do or don't eat. That's never gonna bother me.
They ain't answering my question. What if you was your kid with that attitude?
I'd be fine with it.
Oh, that's nice. Good to know.
Until.
And yeah, I'm not gonna do this.
Until.
Man, listen, I was not a bad kid. That's
I'm
the
not
thing,
saying
though.
that.
I'm not giving you a lot of problems. You know what I give you a problem with? I don't want green beans. That's the beef. That's it. That's the biggest thing I'm bringing to you. You probably don't. That's not a big deal, dog. I'm at school. You don't got to tell me. I'm going. All of that shit is good. I'm gonna have good grades. That shit is fine. I'm gonna do my sports shit. I ain't gonna bring no drama to the crib. It's all good. I just don't want no green beans. You gonna beat me to fucking death over that?
Hey, it depended. I probably see. I didn't have all that.
Yeah, you was out here flunking out, motherfucker. It's different.
So
So when he put that bowl of cereal out there,
he had a different motive already.
Motherfucker, you got the nerve to be wasting my food, you all F getting motherfucker.
Hold on,
No,
boy,
bitch, you eating that shit.
Hold on, this was elementary. These was great grades then,
Man,
boy. I
you
was
eating
good.
that shit, you little dumb fuck.
I ain't get dumb until 6th grade.
That's all I'm saying.
I
Your
ain't
little dumb ass better eat that shit.
Elementary
You
school, I
need it,
was good.
motherfucker, because you don't think well. You need all the help you can
I
get.
was good at elementary school. I was getting good grades.
I failed to believe that.
What you believe? I'm telling you what it is. And
Your dad knew what it
elementary school,
was. I
good.
got a dumb motherfucker. He ain't finna just be wasting my shit. Now I gotta feed him. He ain't gonna be wasting my food.
Wow.
That's what it really
That's
came down
hilarious.
to. Fucking idiot.
Oh, Jesus.
Whatever, nigga.
I'm just saying, dog. If I had a dumbass kid, I'd be like your dad was with you. Like, no, motherfucker. You gonna eat this shit, nigga. It cost to be 32 cents. That's more than
You
your
guys
dumbass
just met
is
each other
worth.
today, right?
In the parking lot, actually.
What, do I even know this guy?
What?
We're friends now.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't talk this
What
much
car,
shit. and
what
not
car
be
you
cool.
drive? God.
Oh man! All right, so we're gonna take a break.
Right,
I
he wasn't
literally
about to
have
fuck
a
around and
headache
find
from
out.
laughter
I'll tell you
right
that.
Man, I'm not giving a fuck what this boy talking about. My daddy was a real street dude.
Yeah, because you was dumb, motherfucker. He treated you different.
Whatever.
Well, I always say you treat people differently, but
Whatever.
fairly. So I'm not gonna treat y'all the same. If you smart and I'm dumb, we're gonna get treated
Man,
differently, right?
you
You
can
was the
say
dumb
that.
kid, so
See,
yeah,
that's why
he
we're
should've
not
been beating your
dads
ass.
over here.
See,
That's why
the
we're
thing.
not dads.
That's
Hey, listen,
the
I'm
thing.
telling
you
you
don't want
what.
to be because you have to raise him like that. And take
I
your
see.
whip.
I feel like I'd be like you gonna eat the shit. You
You'd
gonna
be,
eat it.
you'd be happy
you
to
gonna
raise a
eat it.
motherfucker like
You
me.
gonna
If
eat
your
it.
biggest drama came from your kid was they didn't want some fucking green beans, you feel great as a parent. If that's the biggest thing that they ever bring to you, you probably look at it like, shit, I'm a outstanding fucking parent. You think it's you. It's really the kid,
I
but you
could've
think
been
like
out of-
I'm fucking dope.
You know why?
The biggest thing this motherfucker
you know
ever
why-
did was
you
not
know
want
why I'd
green
have been in
beans?
jail if I was his daddy. Because first off, you little bastard, you too stubborn for me.
I am. But I got it from where? My mom.
Well, see, that's why I'd have been beating her ass too. I've been beating the shit out of both of y'all in my house. I gotta deal. You is the reason for him.
Right.
Time to go, right?
Boys, open up.
Exactly.
Oh, see, back in them days, it wasn't like that. No,
I'm grandma and mom
You know what I'm
smack the
saying? We talking
paddle.
about back in them days, it was
Today?
all good. No, that's not.
I'm
We don't condone domestic
I'm far
violence.
enough removed.
We just talking shit, y'all.
I'm far enough removed from my oldest brother to where a dog ain't coming in here and swinging on my mama. That's not happening. Like, so my dad is not coming in here and swinging on my mom as long as my brother is in existence. That's not happening because it's a big enough age gap where that's not happening. Now, maybe when he was little, but not when I was little. That would have never been a thing. That nigga would have got his ass demolished by my brother.
Your dad,
Demolished. Like, you're not hitting my mom, bro. So that would have never been a situation in my particular household.
never know. You never know. Like I ain't.
Oh,
never,
I do know.
I ain't.
Dog tried to whoop me one day, and my brother was like, "Nah,
You had a whole ass daddy.
we're
then.
not doing that."
You had a whole ass daddy. That's all it's about.
I absolutely had a whole
You ain't
ass
had
daddy.
no-
That's a fact.
Like, I had a real gangster
Yeah,
shooting
no, I had a
that
whole ass
drug
daddy.
addict nigga, drug
Yeah.
street daddy. I had that.
I had a whole ass
I
nigga,
had-
but he
I
was
had
also a
that.
street nigga too. But it was just one street nigga was bigger than the other.
I just got a dad.
Right.
Just got a dad.
Got a pops, man.
Oh, you don't want your green beans? Okay, no problem.
Right.
Exactly.
See.
Not a big deal.
See, I wish I had that. That was a different story in my house.
And you still
My-
turned out dumb as fuck. So it looked like we did it right on my side.
Actually,
Fucker.
I'm the man.
Hey, I'm-
That's
Me
why
too.
That's why I'm here.
Oh, okay.
You feel me?
Yo.